The third part of the chapter is about process perspectives on employee motivation. Prospect perspectives are concerned with the thought processes by which people decide how to act. They try to understand why employees have different needs. Three process perspectives on motivation are equity theory, expectation theory, and goal setting theory. Equity theory, developed by J. Stacy Adams, focuses on employee perceptions as to how fairly they think they are being treated compared to others. According to this theory, employees are motivated to see fairness in the rewards they expect for task performance and resolve feelings of injustice. When you look at the elements of the equity theory, comparing your inputs and outputs with those of others, inputs are those inputs that people perceive they give to an organization are their time, their effort into the organization, the training, experience, status, and so on. Outputs or rewards are the rewards that people receive from an organization, including pay, benefits, praise, any type of recognition or promotions, and so on. In comparison, equity theory suggests that people compare the ratio of their outcomes to inputs against the ratio of someone else's outcomes to the inputs. If they perceive that there is an equity, they are satisfied with the ratio and they don't change their behavior. Now, if they perceive there is inequity, they feel resentful and act to change their inequity. Now, in using equity theory to motivate employees, employees who feel they are under-rewarded will react to the inequity in negative ways by reducing their inputs, trying to change the outputs or the rewards that they receive, distorting the inequity, changing the object or comparison, or leaving the situation. Employees who think they are treated fairly are more likely to support organizational change and more apt to cooperate in group settings. Now, there are three practical lessons that can be drawn from the equity theory. Employee perceptions are what count. Managers should provide positive recognition and explain the reasons behind their decisions. Employee participation helps. Managers benefit by allowing employees to participate in important decisions. And then lastly, having an appeal process helps. When employees are able to appeal decisions affecting their welfare, it promotes the belief that management treats them fairly. Now let's look at the expectant theory. How much do you want it and how likely are you to get it? The expectant theory, which was proposed by Victor Verroom, suggests that people are motivated by two things: how much they want something and how likely they think they are to get it. According to the theory, motivation involves the relationship between effort, performance, and the desirability of the outcomes. These relationships are affected by the three elements of expectancy: instrumentality, and valence. Expectancy is the belief that a particular level of effort will lead to a particular level of performance. This is also called the effort to performance expectancy. You believe that your efforts will matter and that you have the ability to perform. Instrumentality is the expectation that successful performance of the outcome will lead to the outcome desired. This is also called the performance to reward expectancy. You believe that if you can achieve your goals, the outcome will be worthwhile. And then lastly, valence. Valence is the value, the importance a worker assigns to the possible outcome or reward. For your motivation to be high, all three elements, expectancy, instrumentality, and valence, must be high. Now, using the expectant theory to motivate employees. When attempting to motivate employees, managers should ask the following questions. What rewards do the employees value? What are the job objectives and the performance level you desire? Are the rewards linked to performance? And lastly, do employees believe you will deliver the right rewards for the right performance? And Figure 12.6, I'm just showing it here as this is just kind of the major elements of the expectancy theory. Now let's move on to the goal setting theory. This was developed by Edwin Locke and Gary Latham. This suggests that employees can be motivated by goals that are specific and challenging but achievable. And you can see here that the 6 we have here are just that. These ought to look pretty familiar. Goals should be SMART. They should be specific, measurable, attainable, results oriented, and have target dates. Now, it is natural for people to set and strive for goals, but the goal setting process itself is useful only if people understand and accept the goals. Now we move into job design perspectives on motivation. This is in part 4 of the chapter. Job design is the division of an organization's work amongst its employees and the application of motivational theories to jobs to increase satisfaction and performance. There are 2 approaches to job design: fitting people to jobs and fitting jobs to people. The traditional way is fitting people to jobs. This is based on the assumption that people will gradually adapt to any work situation. Jobs must still be tailored so that nearly anyone can do those jobs. One technique of this is job simplification, which is the process of reducing the number of tasks a worker performs. This increases employee efficiency and productivity. However, simplified, repetitive jobs lead to job dissatisfaction and a low sense of accomplishment. Fitting jobs to people is based on the assumption that people are underutilized at work and that they want more variety, challenges, and responsibility. 2 techniques for this are job enlargement, which consists of increasing the number of tasks in a job to increase variety and motivation, and job enrichment, which consists of building into a job such motivating factors as responsibility, achievement, recognition, stimulating work, and advancement. Instead of the job enlargement technique known as horizontal leading, employees are given more responsibility, and this is known as vertical loading. Employees take on chores that would normally be performed by their supervisors. Now we'll look at the job characteristics model. An outgrowth of job enrichment is the job characteristics model, which consists of the 5 core job characteristics that affect 3 critical psychological states of an employee that in turn affect work outcomes, the employee's motivation, performance, and satisfaction. You can see all that here in figure 12.9. Now the 5 job characteristics are skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, and feedback. Skill variety is the extent to which a job requires a person to use a wide range of different skills and abilities. Task identify is the extent to which a job requires a worker to perform all the tasks needed to complete the job. Autonomy is the extent to which a job allows an employee to make choices about how to perform different tasks. And then feedback is the extent to which workers receive clear, direct information about how well they are performing that job. 3 core characteristics affect critical psychological states: meaningfulness of work, responsibility for results, and the knowledge of the actual results of the work. These core characteristics affect critical psychological states. In turn, these positive psychological states fuel high motivation, high performance, high satisfaction, and low absenteeism and turnover. Contingency factors refer to the degree to which a person wants personal and psychological development. To be motivated by enriched jobs, employees must have necessary knowledge and skill. They must have a desire for personal growth in the organization. And employees must have context satisfaction, the right physical working conditions, pay, and supervision. Now, job design is positively associated with employee performance, job satisfaction, organizational commitment, physical and psychological well-being, lower absenteeism, and intentions to quit. There are 3 major steps to follow when applying the job characteristics model in an organization. Diagnose the work environment to see whether a problem exists. Determine whether job design is appropriate. Job design is most likely to work if a participative environment in which employees have the necessary knowledge and skills. And lastly, consider how to redesign the job. Try to increase those core job characteristics that are lower than national norms. Now in section 5 of our chapter, this is over the reinforcement perspectives on motivation. Now the reinforcement perspective, pioneered by Edward L. Thorndike and B.F. Skinner, focuses on how the consequences of a certain behavior affect that behavior in the future. The reinforcement theory attempts to explain behavior change by suggesting that behavior with positive consequences tends to be repeated, whereas behavior with negative consequences tends not to be repeated. Behavior modification is using reinforcement theory to change human behavior. Now, reinforcement is anything that causes a given behavior to be repeated or inhibited. There are four types of reinforcement. There's positive reinforcement, which is the use of positive consequences to encourage desirable behavior. The rewards will strengthen that behavior. Second, there is negative reinforcement. This is the removal of unpleasant consequences following a desired behavior. Lack of praise or any negative statement could cause an employee to maintain his or her existing behavior. The third type of reinforcement is extinction. And extinction is the withholding or withdrawal of positive rewards or desirable behaviors so that the behavior is less likely to occur in the future. Withdrawal of positive rewards will weaken the employee's efforts to perform better in the future. And lastly, the last type of reinforcement is punishment. Punishment is the application of negative consequences to stop or change undesirable behavior. Negative consequences will inhibit behavior. Now, here's a quick little figure of our four types of reinforcement here. You can just kind of look at those in your text in their figure 12.9, and you can see how it breaks down as what the manager wants, what the employee wants, what type of reinforcement for the manager, and what that result behavior might be by the employee. Let's talk about using reinforcement to motivate employees. Some of the ways to use positive reinforcement are this. Reward only the desired behavior. Give rewards as soon as possible after the desired behavior appears. Be clear about what behavior is desired. And have different rewards and recognize individual differences. And also there's ways to use punishment. And in punishment, punish only the undesirable behaviors. Give reprimands or disciplinary actions as soon as possible. Then you can be clear about what behavior is undesirable. That way there's no gray area. Administer punishments in private. Don't do it in front of a whole group. Combine punishment and positive reinforcement so that there's a clear understanding of punishment and reward. Now let's move into the last part of the chapter, which is using compensation and other rewards to motivate. Motivation isn't just about money. I know that might be hard to believe, but it's not just about money. Surveys have found that most workers rate having a caring boss higher than they value monetary benefits. The Great Place to Work Institute has determined that great employers have three common traits: employee trust in management, pride in the company, and camaraderie with colleagues. Most people are paid in an hourly wage or a weekly or a monthly salary. And here we're talking about motivation compensation. These methods are easy for an organization to administer, but wages and salary alone give employees little incentive to work hard. Incentive plans try to do so, but for incentive plans to work, certain criteria are advisable. Rewards must be linked to performance and be measurable. The rewards must satisfy individual needs. The The rewards must be agreed upon by managers and employees, and the rewards must be believable and achievable by an organization's employees. Popular incentive compensation plans that you might have been around are uh, pay for performance bonuses, profit sharing, gain sharing, stock options, and or pay for knowledge. If you haven't heard of pay for knowledge, it's also known as skill-based pay. This ties employees' pay to the number of job relevant skills or academic degrees they earn. With pay for performance, there's different ones here. For pay performance, it's also known as like a merit pay. This is based on an individual's results. You have a piece rate, which is typically in manufacturing. You'll see the employees are paid according to how much output they produce. And then sales commission is another, in which sales representatives are paid a percentage of the earnings of the company made from their sales. Bonuses are cash rewards given to employees who achieve specific performance objectives that are set forth for them. If you haven't been around profit sharing, this is the distribution to employees a percentage of the overall organization's profits. Gain sharing is the distribution of savings or gains to a group of employees who reduce costs and increase productivity. Lastly, we have stock options here, and with stock options, certain employees are given the right to buy stock at a future date for a discounted price. Employees holding stock options will supposedly work harder to make the company's stocks rise. And we also have non-monetary ways of motivating employees. Those employees who can't solve problems and take initiative are the very ones who may leave if their needs aren't being met. Specifically, the need for work-life balance, which is attaining a balance between personal life and career, or the needs to expand skills, gaining those skills that enable workers to earn a decent living in the future, not just in the present. And the need to matter. Workers want to commit to their profession or fellow team members rather than a blind loyalty to a corporation. Now, companies can use a flexible workplace to attract, retain, and motivate employees. Examples such as part-time work, flex time, where you have some time that you need to leave, let's say for a doctor's appointment, and you just have to make that up in the same work period. A compressed work week, such as working 4 days a week instead of 5. Job sharing, telecommuting. Other incentives simply involved treating employees well. Another non-monetary way of motivating employees is thoughtfulness, the value of being nice. A majority of employees feel underappreciated. Dissatisfaction with their supervisors is the number one reason people quit their jobs, not essentially their paychecks. To promote personal relationships, employers should create opportunities for people to socialize. Work-life benefits are programs used by employers to increase productivity and commitment by helping employees strike a balance between their work and their personal lives. Some employees are low performers simply because of the overwhelming demands at their home. Work-life benefits include helping employees with their daycare costs. Some companies have created their own daycares, and then either that's no charge to its employees or at a reduced cost than what a local daycare might be. You also have job protected leave for as a new parent with beyond the FMLA rules and laws. Surroundings. According to new research, the cubicle is stifling the creativity of many workers. And many workplaces are too noisy or too bland. If you've ever worked in an area that has a cubicle, it can be really distracting. So to improve creativity, employers may need to give employees a more interesting workspace, even if you can just like personalize that workspace so that you don't feel as cooped up. Skill building and educational opportunities here. Workers can be matched with coworkers to learn from them, kind of a mentoring type situation. There can also be tuition reimbursement for part-time study. Tuition reimbursement, great non-monetary way of motivating employees. And these are handled different in different organizations. But if you can gain those skills or pursue a degree outside of your company. It's not really tied to your pay, but maybe that money didn't have to come out of your pocket, or if you have to pay for that class and then you get reimbursed for it by having a certain degree or certain grade, which is usually C or higher, then you get reimbursed for that money, so you're getting that degree paid for rather than you having to do it as an individual or taking out loans. And lastly, sabbaticals. Some employers offer long-term employees paid leave in which to travel, learn, and pursue personal projects. The goal here is to cement employees' loyalty to that organization through that sabbatical. Well, everyone, that's it for Chapter 12 of our Motivating Employees. We will continue learning more about the leading function of managers in our next chapter. Thanks for joining.